And we are live. Here's we're going to get in trouble. God, somebody feels they are right. Or I don't. Whatever it is. Like, it's amazing. What jump on that. Well, then, some folks love it. Joke on it. Like talking. And my response is, well, make a joke to me all you want. Here's four better. Who's listening? It's your phone. Go back. Okay. Okay. Well, my favorite something with ice. Oh, hang on. I'll be right back. I'm just. Good morning, Nick. I had to post this location for those too slow to figure it out. Uh, Good to see you. I'm going to try to squeeze it all in today. Uh, don't know who else is coming, and I don't care. When I get done with you, uh, I got to change. I'm going to Warsaw, Indiana, which is where Winona Lake and a lot of early FCM stuff was done. I'm going to do a church presentation. Uh, going to have a lot of fun. But it's 3.5 to get there and 3.5 to get back. And I'm getting kind of old for that. I know I'm always wondering if, because just because it doesn't stick doesn't mean it's not a chop cup. Yeah, see, this does not stick, but this may require a magnet in the ball or the other way around. So I got to check this out a little closer. Somebody's looking for a leather chop cup. I know that's not the one that I normally use. Ah, we got 5 minutes, and I may start just a little early because, oh, well, wonderful. I'm glad you can, Dennis. Uh, I don't know what power tools have to do with it. I used a router years ago, but man, is that bad. Um, no, I understand. Uh, well, gonna have fun today, guys. I promise. But I can use the 5 minutes, so if they're late, they're late. Calling all stations. Clear the air lanes. Clear all air lanes for the big broadcast. Um, I think the movie tonight is This Island Earth. I know it has the Metaluna uh, mutants in it with the big brains and things. Not a bad movie, not great. The 50s moved into sci fi from monsters. So it's that kind of a movie. Um, Nick, earlier in the week, asked me a really interesting question. And the question was, where does the materials and the jokes, the stories, come from in the various routines that I do? Uh, Nick was pointing out that when he does a trick and I do the same trick, he's done in a minute or so. And when I do the trick, we have to have an intermission. But seriously, let me repeat a couple of things I said at FCM lectures for 10 years, and nobody listened, but I did say it. The first thing was get into literature and poetry, learn some poems. I don't care which ones, but memorize them, learn them, get those tiny little gray cells accustomed to that. Because you never know when you're going to see a trick and it's going to click on a poem. My handling of the gypsy thread while saying the touch of the master's hand, I humbly say, is an absolute classic in my hands. I know others do it now, and that's fine. I was there first. and it destroys people. Earlier this week, I posted a cold steel video about their sword cane. Now, that one is well made, isn't going to break. You watch the video, you see just how dangerous a weapon it can be. And I said then, I'm going to say now, many cities, that's a major no no. Don't be walking around with that unless you check. But you're probably wondering why I posted it there. Well, let us start here. Went over to see Carol many, many times. Very rarely, when I showed up, was he not at the kitchen table. Normally, that's where he was, and he was fooling around with something. I vividly remember somebody had had a trick they were going to put on the market. They sent it for Carol to play with. It was little pool balls and a big 8 ball and a pool cue to be the wand. And it was kind of a two in the hand, one in the pocket sort of thing. And the big 8 ball was produced at the end. And Carol was there fooling around, coming up with a routine. That's what he did. I do the same thing. Now, Carol wrote books because he created way more than he would ever have the ability to perform. Way more. I do the same. But I don't think anybody reads books anymore unless it's something specific, like a new way to do a diagonal palm shift or something. And so they're just going to die. But I got what I felt was a pretty clever idea. You can't do the burning bill and the wallet thing anymore. A, the fire is going to get you in trouble. B, and you could see it when I was doing comedy clubs. I could look at the stage we were on, and it was always carpeted. And there'd be a burn ring hole on that carpet where somebody put the pan of the burning envelopes. So you could see it happening. Well, I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to update the old blindfold card stab? We have 3 people here now. But as usual, the third person isn't saying hello. Makes me wonder who they are. I may have to be even more restrictive of this content. Anyway, rather than doing it on a board with a penknife and, small, which is Max Malini's, and it's brilliant. There have been wonderful routines with it. Don't want to do it that way. I want to have half a dozen cards selected and signed, returned to the deck, shuffled by the audience, and I take them and 52 pick up them all over the floor. And now the routine is that a very long time ago, I was off Broadway with great hopes of getting on Broadway. The role was Cyrano de Bergerac. Now, guys, there is no cheat sheets, no papers. I did that 30, 40 years ago, 40 years ago, and I can still do it now. One of the high points of the play is Cyrano has been insulted by someone who claims to be the greatest swordsman in all of France. So I will do what Cyrano did. He had a duel in rhyme. I will find your cards in rhyme and have it examined. I will do it blindfolded. Put the blindfold on, show the cane. Oh no, I call this a Detroit credit card. Out comes the cane. Show the cane, put it back. And then I say, let us begin. No cheating, guys. Lightly I toss my hat away, and languidly over this arm let fall the cloak that covers my bright array. Then out swords, and to work withal. A Lancelot in this ladies' hall, a Spartacus at the hippodrome. I shall dally a while with you, dear jackal. But then, as I end the refrain, thrust home. And the duel is on. Where shall I skewer my peacock? Nay, better for you to have shunned this brawl. Here in the heart, third person has left. Neath your ribbons gay, in the belly, neath your silken shawl. Hark, how the steel rings musical. Mark how my point floats, light as the foam. And I'm moving it around amongst the cards as I'm saying it, ready to drive you back to the wall. But then as I end the refrain, whack! Lift it up, it's one of the cards. Thrust home. Hole for a rhyme. Why, you're white as whey. You cringe, you cower, you crawl, and tack. So as I parry your last essay, so may the turn of my hand foresaw life with its honey, death with its gall. So may the turn of my fancy roam free for a while till the rhymes recall. And then as I end the refrain, whack! It's another card. Thrust home. Refrain. Prince, pray God, Lord of all, has mercy on your soul, for your time has come. Beat, throw cards. Pass, throw cards. Fling your asslant a sprawl. And then as I end the refrain, whack, last card, thrust home. Now that whole routine could never have been together until I went, sword cane, stabbing the cards, use the sword cane, and since it's a sword, it is Cyrano. Now, the method is too good for you. Way too good. Carol is applauding. Him and Billy are slapping each other and applauding. You go check. First, you want to get blue or red, it doesn't matter. I prefer blue for this. B cards with the diamonds on the back. Now, when you go to the store to find the B decks, Walmart usually has them. They have off decks of cards. And some of them are copies of the B deck. Now, it's not the same pattern, or they get in trouble because of copyright violation. We just jumped up to 4. You guys are 7 minutes late. Now it's down to 3. I mean, if you're not going to come sit and watch, what are you hunting around for? I don't get it. And if you're not going to say hi, then you must not be here with any good intention. You want to hide in the shadows and strike out with your little envenomated dagger. For you D&D people, let's go back. If you hold the cards next to each other, you can clearly see they are different. But if you hold them apart and can't compare, it doesn't look different. So, here's what happens. I take the deck, shuffle the deck, hand it out into the audience, and I say, I need 3 cards selected. And they do that Give me the deck back. Now, if you see those cards again, I want you to know they are your cards, not duplicates, not something else. Go into the pocket, take out my pen. Each one of you print your name on the front of that card. I will turn my back so I can't see. And I turn around. Are you boys ready? I switch decks. I go back to the real B deck where the spaces are smaller. Those cards are going to stick out like a sore thumb. I come back and I just dribble cards, put your card back, put your card back, put your card back. I mix them up, riffle them, whatever. Then I do the joke. Have you ever played 52 pickup? This was a funny thing when you were a kid. It looks like this. That's the trick, guys. Certainly. Isn't it, Nick? And all I do is look down my nose, and when I push them around, ping, it's like neon goes off. It's me, it's me. And that sword's sharp enough, and if you got a heckler, you can end him. So, okay. It's Carol Fox's thinking, guys. It's the sort of thing he would do. And I'm sorry that I didn't come up with it until after he was long gone, because I'd have had to get him a sword, because he would have loved to have done this. He would not have done the poem, but he'd have done the effect. Okay. Part 2. So that's really where stories and presentation come from. Where do you get the jokes? Boy, this third person keeps coming in, running away, coming in, running away. Stay long enough and tell me who you are. Here is your project today. I have never opened these 2 books yet. Both of these books, 2,000 surefire jokes for speakers, the encyclopedia of one-liner comedy, a bonanza of short, sharp, topical jokes for speakers, toastmasters, performers, and communicators. Over 200 timely subject categories by Robert Orban. Go to Amazon, search for Robert Orban, click on various books, click on used. You're not in a hurry and you don't need new. This one cost me, I think, $5. Well, yes, Steve, you have to do that. Eventually, I'm just waiting for people to learn, Steve. You won't be able to see anything unless you're signed in and a member of this group. Too many people are out there doing silly things and ripping me off with no credit. And they're the same people saying I'm this horrible person. Good to see you, Steve. This was like 5. This was $1.98. The Joke Teller's Handbook, or 1,999 belly laughs. Listen, guys, when you're looking for them, read the reviews of the book. Most people are going to give it 3 stars or less. Yeah, I know. The problem, Steve, is I have very nasty negative people who are signed into Facebook, and they think they can, and they try to come over here. But no, you've got to be signed into YouTube, and eventually I'm going to shut it off. You actually have to be a member of this group on YouTube. So it's a double pump. Um, I won't get into it. I'm not going to waste my time talking about the horrible things people are doing. I just do this. Yes, it is. But hang on. Don't get ahead of me. They're going to say they're terrible, nothing funny. And these are the people. Oh, there was one guy on one of the places, whether it was Tragic Cafe or what, got laughter legacy or something. Oh yeah, duh. You just said it, Nick. Whatever one it was. I don't think it was Children Laugh Louder. Guy said nothing funny in there. Not a single joke I could use. Waste of time. Then he started praising Silly Billy. So before I even, and again, I've never opened these books. I'm going to show you live, but let me give you an example. Before Wally Wilson passed, he gave me his Orban encyclopedias, and that's like 10 hardcover books. And they're ancient. They're bound it's bound copies of the individual books. And some of the jokes, let's face it, he died at 95 or something. Some of the jokes go all the way back to radio. And people are going to say they're not topical. That's your job. Example. I'm looking through the books one night, and there's an entire section under the heading Dr. Agony. Yeah, Chaplain Steve. I know what you. That's why I call you Steve. You want me to say Chaplain Steve? That's fine. But you're going to have to call me Sensei Mark. No, seriously, though, let me make my point. Seriously. Dr. Agony is referring to radio advice shows. They go all the way back to the early days of radio. There was always that person there, and people would call in with problems, and Dr. Agony, or whatever the name really was, would help resolve your problems. These were jokes based on somebody calling in, and what you were supposed to say was Dr. Agony said back to them. Following? I'm sure that in the 70s and 80s, people said, oh my gosh, what the hell is he talking about? Until Dr. Laura showed up, every single Dr. Agony joke became topical and pertinent when you didn't say Dr. Agony. I said, you guys listen to Dr. Laura? Were you listening today? She had a strange caller. And now you start telling the jokes. No, I haven't done it since because they drove Dr. Laura off of radio. She's on satellite radio now. But let's take a shot. I'm going to open the oldest one. And believe me, guys, this is an old book. Yeah, I got to put some tape up there. That page is a little torn. I'm looking to see. Ah, yeah, see? It's 6 volumes because it's right down here. Complete Comedians Encyclopedia. Volume 1. Steve, you didn't have to redact the message. Come on. We fool around here. We're friends. We bust each other's testicles. This is what we do. Yeah, 6 volumes of the Complete Comedians Encyclopedia. And I've got those somewhere. I'm looking for the publishing date. Ah, here we go. No. It's got it in the Latin letters, and I can't crack that. but it's got to be old. Here we go. Contents: advertising, air conditioning, agents, Air Force, Alaska. Now, Air Force. The news is talking about that airman who got a hold of sensitive classified information and spilled what it said on his podcast. So let us go to page 19. Now, while I'm doing this, let me remind you of Billy McComb's point. You should be reading these books every night, an hour before you go to bed. So these jokes go on the little gray cells. And the reason is that way when I see on the news Air Force story, don't I know an Air Force joke? Well, there's three jokes. Not sure any of these can be adapted. Um, but you probably could. And those jet planes, 1,000 miles an hour, 1,500 miles an hour, 2,000 miles an hour. Things are moving so fast. I hear the Air Force is junking 500 brand new fighters because they're already obsolete. You can see them. Back when the stealth fighters, and this is way before that, were in the news, that might be a way you could twist that into being topical. The draft board wanted to put me in the Air Force. The Air Force, I get dizzy when the barber cranks the chair up. Most people are never going to know that one anymore. I'm telling you, those Air Force boys, they never let up. Now they're working on something that is really top secret, a sound that travels faster than the airplane. Now, again, when airplanes were starting to break the sound barrier, that would be a very topical joke. I'm not sure. But that is what you have to do. You have to say, okay, this is in the news, bippity boppity boo, find something that relates. This one's a little newer. I got it from Bay State Books. (1971), but this was a reprint of the Encyclopedia of One-Liner Comedy. So it predates 1971. Okay, is there? Just hit A's. Adam and Eve. Maybe that's going to be in a church talk or something. This is actually a great one. You know, the problem in the Garden of Eden all started when Eve bit into that piece of fruit. I had the same problem when I went to Mexico. The Garden of Eden. You know why it was the Garden of Eden? That's because Adam and Eve were walking around topless, down to their toes. You remember Eve. That's the first woman who said, I haven't got a thing to wear, and she meant it. I can go on. You got the point. You simply update it. I've shown you guys my version of the Loda before that I use to do toasts. If you don't remember, when I was doing comedy clubs, the purpose was for people to drink. The more they drank, the happier the club owner was. And every single comedy club, whether it was a great club or whether it was a toilet, sent a report card back to the boss. Bad report card, you're not working long. So I put this in the show. And again, you'd have to hunt. I got to put this in hot water and get the pop out of it because it gets up around the corner there. But this is an old creamer. You put a little hole in the back, you put your thumb over the hole, and it stops flowing. Thumb off the hole, it flows. Fill up a shot glass. To our wives and sweethearts, may they never meet. Gulp. And I've got all of these toasts out of those books, down to about 10 of them. Here's to Eve, the mother of our race, who always wore her fig leaf in the proper place. And here's to Adam, the father of us all, who was Johnny on the spot when the leaves began to fall. In the famous words of Eli Whitney, who said, "Keep your cotton picking hands off my Jen." In the famous words of Mrs. General Custer, who said, "Don't you come home without a haircut." Gonna stop. You must have it by now. But the ultimate point is right here. And Nick, I think you're 100% right. That particularly nasty person who just has to imitate me as much as possible. This is $500. I don't think they're going that way. Okay. Remember I said Carol was always at the kitchen table? Take your darn puppet, put it on while you're watching TV or whatever, and play with the puppet. And if you have the kind of mind I do, meaning I watched every single Warner Brother cartoon, Popeye cartoon, I grew up with that. Metro Detroit had Captain Jolly. He showed all the Popeye cartoons. We had Johnny Ginger. He showed all the Three Stooges. We had Jingles and Boothland. Boothland showed all the Japanese imports. Astro Boy, Kimba the White Lion, Tobor, the Eighth Man. Look it up. We had Bozo, who showed things like Diver Dan. And that's always hysterical because one of the henchmen fish, and this is all underwater, was smoking a cigarette underwater. Yeah, I know, crazy. Play and think. I'll show you a bit I just came up with when I did the puppet show. I'm going to do it today. It's an old Popeye cartoon. In the cartoon, Popeye jumps into the arena. He's going to wrestle an alligator. Yeah. And he wrestles the alligator, gets the alligator down, rubs the alligator's stomach. And I guess the alligator wrestling used to be a big thing 50 years ago or more, 60 years ago. And when you did that, supposedly the alligator went to sleep. So Popeye did it, turned him over, rubbed his stomach, alligator goes to sleep. Popeye goes up, does the championship thing, starts to leave. Alligator grabs him. They wrestle again. Now Popeye's on his back, alligator rubs Popeye's stomach, and now Popeye goes to sleep. And I think there were a couple of things like that through the Popeye cartoons. And I said, well, wait a minute. Oh, heavens, yes. More than the weather. It was not Thanksgiving unless Sonny Elliott did the color commentary of the Hudson's Parade. Oh, oh, you had to hear him. And of course, his weather was outstanding. And he did at the zoo. You had Milky. I can go on and on. All right, boys and girls, do you know there's an interesting secret about alligators? I'm not going to tell them what kind of underwear you're wearing. Okay. Now, guys, I literally just made that up because we're playing. But alligators can be hypnotized. No, not like that. You put an alligator on his back, you rub his tummy, and the alligator goes to sleep. Yes. Yes. By the way, I would not recommend doing this with an alligator. It's a good way to be called lefty. Okay, ready? I just made that one up. Okay, lay down. And I rub your tummy. Just relax. Rub your tummy. Just relax. And the alligator will go to sleep. Now, guys, look, don't see. It's amazing, isn't it? That the alligator is what? Is sound asleep. I just rub his tummy and he goes right out. And you see the bit. They're screaming because he's not asleep. Play with the prop. Think about cartoons that you have seen over the years. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about today, and I think it's pretty darn important, is the difference between entertaining with balloons and handing out souvenirs. A week ago today in Lake Odessa, I did my yearly Easter egg hunt. I don't know why they call it a hunt. You can see that aren't things. But almost 300 balloons. 4 straight hours, no breaks. And when I've been at the FCM for years, I would hear certain balloonatics complain. Oh, they just wanted me to be a machine. Just hand out balloons. No, sir. They wanted you to hand out souvenirs. So people had something to show from their visit. If you can't do that, don't do it. But every single person I've ever heard say, they wanted a machine. I'm not a machine. Yeah? What is your act with balloons? Because other than John Shirley, and you guys have no clue who that is, he had a nightclub act with balloons. It was hysterically funny, and it was really cool. Most people do not have an act. Now, take this advice as you will. This is my balloon case. I take this and I take this wonderful Filbert pump. Only thing I haven't done yet, there's a spot here and a spot here to attach a shoulder thing so I can just put this over my arm and carry that in. Now, this first idea I just did last week, and I'll do it this way from now on. If you look, now hang on because that's garbage from last week. You will notice I have 3 bags of balloons. 100 balloons each. So that's 300 balloons. This was the birthday card they went and got for me. And there was oh heavens, a McDonald's gift card in there. And these, because they last forever, are little boxes of juice. Because there's no way I can get up and go get a drink of water or something. So, and I have business cards in here. So if anybody asks, I can hand them out. But do you notice? Oh, and this is a top of the line Qualitex hand pump. And if you've never had one of these, you should get one. And if you're using Robbins, you can get 2 of these very cheaply. What's amazing is it inflates on both strokes. Out and in inflates the balloon. Why do I carry one of these? What if this breaks? Now, this is modular. It's easy to fix. But if it doesn't work for the show, I've got a problem. So, put you guys down here for a minute. Now, I haven't done it yet. But I'm going to make cards. Guys, I got to do it. I've been trying to hold off, but they've got me back on. A water pit. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, that's there. The cards I was trying to show you, I made here. I need to have them professionally done. Do notice how I did these. Mark Tripp, Funny Magic Guy. The Birthday Party Specialist. My website and my phone number. The key line is the Birthday Party Specialist. When I know that's what, do you do birthdays? Could you come to my kid's birthday party? That's the card they're going to get. And it's why I said, although it's buried over here, the original Skyhooks were much better because you could take an Avery return address label, put your name, the Birthday Party Specialist, and your phone number. We didn't have websites in those days, and stick it on. So when you gave out a Skyhook, they got your information. So you're ready for that. You will notice these balloons are loose. Let me tell you what I used to do, and it was a very big pain in the rump. I'm there, I got the pump between my legs, kid comes up, what would you like me to make? And they always would ask for a color. And if I said, I don't do color requests, no, I want a yellow one, I want a blue one. Those weren't bad. Purple, green, they all look the same until you blow them up. And I got a fish, and everybody's unhappy. No. I'm on a picnic table. I'm here with the pump. Here is this case open. As the kid comes up, I say, take a balloon, pick your favorite color. And all they did was grab one. It ended all of that mess. No dead time, nothing. Here's your favorite balloon. Now, part 2. I know people have menus. You want to carry all that, God bless you. But I had to park outside of the park and then walk 2/3 in to go where I was going. I'm not carrying this, and a big uh, menu. I only had two kids cry because they wanted something. One case I couldn't do it. One case I wouldn't do it. Let's deal with them. What's your favorite animal? A unicorn. Great. I'm going to make you a secret agent unicorn. He's hiding as a dog. I want a lion. Hiding as a dog. Now, I'm not being a creep. How am I supposed to make the horn with one balloon? Yeah, I know. They make multiple balloons. I went through 300 people Saturday in 4 hours. If I was using two balloons a person, I'd never get done. Got to be one. Got to be one. Now, if all you're doing, here's your balloon, here's your balloon, you suck. Where is the interaction? Now, the late Brian Flora, and he's right, if you use a palm rather than your mouth, you lose 50% of the jokes. That's just the way it is. I don't like it either. But after 4 hours Saturday, and my hands being pure white from the powder that goes on these things, this one's deformed. I realized I certainly wouldn't want all that in my lungs. And they've actually found that it causes COPD and all sorts of horrible stuff. So, no. One kid wanted a T Rex. Now, I can make a brontosaurus. There's no way to make a T Rex. You can't make the little arms. You can't get the mouth and the teeth unless you're going to use several balloons. And I kept saying, son, I can make a. So my joke was, and he didn't like it at all. Oh no, I had to stop making T Rexes. You know, they're meat eaters. Last week I made one for a boy, and the T Rex ate him. Man, was his mom mad. So I only make plant eaters now. Everybody chuckled. We thought it was great. I want a T Rex. And obviously, this kid thought the bigger tantrum he threw and the more he cried, he would eventually get what he wanted. Finally, I just said, listen, you're standing in the no crier spot. You need to stand over here and you can cry as much as you want. And when you decide you want a balloon, let me know. And I went right back to making balloons. Yes, Nick, that was humping. Just humping. You're not. I had a huge argument with Carrie over it. And yes, we both did a 5K run together. It was very sparsely attended. And yeah, nobody wanted my balloons because Carrie's making them 4, 5, 6 at a time. Well, that's great, Carrie. Come on up to Lake Odessa, and you're still going to be sitting there making balloons. It can't be done. So the other one is swords. I used to only make swords if we were outside. I won't make them at all anymore because it's always the same. If you make one, you got to make two. If you make two, there's going to be a sword fight, and they're never going to hear it's just a balloon. The last time I did them, I had to make a dozen or so balloons, and they all went into the bounce house to have a war. And then you hear pop. Out comes a kid. I need a sword. I need a sword. I got to get back in the fight. Stand at the end of the line and I'll make you a sword. No, I need it right now, right now. No, I told you, one animal per person. I said the balloon would break. They come back with the parents. Oh, just make him another one. Ma'am, I'm willing to make him one, but he's going to have to wait. All these people are still waiting. And it's such a mess. I just went, indoors never. Because they'll sword fight, they'll break something, and they'll blame you. Don't do it. And this is now what I say. Guys, before we even begin this, please understand I do not make war toys. No guns, no swords, no axes, none of that. And if it gets pushed, I lower my voice and I say, well, I think if you look at what's going on in society today and some of the horrible violence we see, I don't think we work at peace if we play at war. Now, do I really feel that way? No. But it kills it right there. Now, without the pump, and now you can do the first gag because you're going to put it over the pump. So you take the balloon. Oh, now that was nowhere near my face. I just went here. I went here. I let go. That happens. It's hitting my hand. But if I jerk my head, now the hysterical one, which you can't do, you're using the pump. You take the balloon and you get your face red. It will blow up. Ha! Wrong end. Great joke, but you can't do it. So, depending on what you're making, you do this part, you're getting ready to get started. You ask the kid, have you ever looked inside of a balloon before? Take a look. It's full of, and you let it go when you hit him with the air in the face. It's full of air. You wouldn't believe me, but every kid wants to get hit in the face. When you do it once, all the kids want to get hit in the face with the air. And because you're not using your mouth, that doesn't have the problems as it did when you were. Now, I make about 12 to 15 different animals with a 260E. At least that's what we used to call them. I think it's 260Q now. The only balloon animal tape to get is Brian Flora. He explains that you're making balloons for money. That means you cannot sit there and spend 3-4 minutes. The only time you can. Will Baffle took this approach. He goes to restaurants and works for tips. The restaurant doesn't have to pay him at all. And he makes motorcycles and jet packs. These things are 5 to 10 balloons. Well, you've got to be pretty cheap not to hand somebody $5-10 for making this great big thing. And that's what he did. But Brian points it out. Now, good thing I just thought about this. If I was walking around doing balloons, so I can't carry stuff, I'm going to use this, and I'm going to fill this up. This has one of those clippies, and it goes right to the belt. It is a clothespin holder for when you hang your clothes up outside. You could put, now where I got the idea was from Brian Watson. He puts his full size cup and ball routine in here with the 3 cups, with the load balls, with the regular balls, hooks this on his belt, and he does his anytime, any place, anywhere cup and ball routine when he strolls around. Brilliant. And I have it for that, and I like the purple because it looks like, there's something weird going on. Can put the balloons in there. Stuff it. Off you go. So that's the only time I wouldn't carry the pump. But what if you're on stage? What if you're supposed to be entertaining, not handing out a souvenir? This routine goes way back. It goes all the way back to Virgil. Virgil taught it to Stan Cramian. Stan Cramian taught it to me. When I got home from the Voyager show, Jeff Hobson was married to Carrie at the time. Not our Carrie, different Carrie. And they were doing a weekly set at one of these star imitation show things. They had someone there doing Elvis and somebody doing, God darn it, Sweet Caroline, Cracklin' Rose. Totally out of my head. We're not going to be doing these things much longer, guys, I'm afraid. Anyway, he was there doing a magic set, and they wanted some bits. So I taught him this one, which with his Alzheimer's, he doesn't remember any of the things I taught him or any of the things he took. Now, when he put it on his DVD, with no credit to anybody, he didn't do the finish, which is what makes this a miracle. He didn't want to carry all that, didn't want to carry an assistant. So he came up with the vanish and the bag. Well, if you're doing a stage show, all you need is a backdrop of some sort, and anybody can hand you balloons. Anybody. They just have to sit back there and do what they do when you call them. So what you do is you get the kid up, boy or girl, doesn't matter, and you say, "What now?" If you've pre-blown them and you can use your mouth, wonderful. If you can't, either get the big pump, get the small pump, doesn't matter. You got balloons in both pockets. What's your favorite color? Whatever they say, you reach into a pocket and you pull out a balloon. You're hoping it does not match. What's your favorite color? Red. Great. I've got a yellow balloon for you. Laugh number one. If it is red, that's the first time that's ever happened again. Okay. Gonna make you an animal. So you play with that. Now, I don't do any of the other bits because you're going to see in a minute where I do those bits. So let me just do it this way. And you say, okay, only go halfway if you're making the dough. I'm going to make you an animal. Zap, you're an animal. Now you can poop and pee indoors. No, outdoors. Got to go outdoors to poop and pee. Hang on. Pay attention to the lights. Okay, I've made you an animal. It's a snake. Not impressed. Okay. I'm just getting warmed up. We make a nose. We make 2 ears. We push it. Now, guys, do I have to tell you, make sure your nails are trimmed if you're going to do this? Or you push the nose through the ears. Ew. Now, we have a dog with no legs. You know what you call a dog with no legs? Nothing. He can't come if you call him. Oh, terrible, mean. It's just a balloon. Grow up. Okay. We make a neck. We make 2 legs. If you look, you'll see one leg is longer than the other leg. We'll call him Eileen. Yes, guys, every one of these jokes I was doing. So what got on the DVD with no credit? Oh, well. Now, we'll make a body. We can put him in the mailbox, call him Bill. Put him in the bank, call him Penny. Ooh. This is a problem. I wanted to give him that poofy tail like the poodles have, but I tied a knot. I can't get any more air in. You're going to have to help me. Ever blown out your birthday candles? Happy birthday to you. Okay, I need you to blow right there. Guys, listen to your old Uncle Mark. This thing, Nick, you know me, got gasps last week. I would do it, and kids would do this. How did you do that? What I do is I get my baby finger under this part of the twist, and I hold everything here. I stretch out the back, I pull it out, and I close it off. So when I squeeze the bubble down there, it's got to go out at the end. I say blow. And that fills up. And the kid, think about an audience. You go to him. Oh, wait. This is a very intelligent balloon dog. He can do tricks. Say sit. Say up. You got to wet your finger. Say speak. Say roll over. And you let it go to the floor. Say play dead. And you stomp the son of a gun. I didn't do that, and of course it goes boom. You pick up the dead limp balloon. There you go. What? This is not your child. Yeah. I know he's disappointed, but we had fun. Now, you got to hurry along. You don't want the kid to cry. Oh, no. Throw it. No. I wouldn't do that to you. And then I bring them to the edge of my jet set backdrop. And my helpers backstage. Prior to the show, you make about 15 different balloon animals. And they're on a table back there. And you say, no, don't worry about it. We can take care of you. Watch. And the guy's hand comes out, and there's a balloon animal in it. You take the balloon animal. Now, his hand is still out there. Have you met my stage hand? I didn't say they were any good. And the line is, they can't all be winners. Then later, they're not going to get any better. So you give that to the kid to hang on to. When you do that, and this is the bit Jeff missed, he comes out with another balloon. Oh, wait a minute, here. It becomes multiplying wands with something much cooler. So now he's got a balloon in each hand. Out comes another balloon. Now listen. Bev Bergeron told me how to do the wands. You don't just stick it somewhere. To make this funny, I take this balloon, put it in the left hand, take the left hand balloon, put it in the right hand, take the right hand balloon, put it under his arm. And of course, comes back with another balloon. You'll go the whole gauntlet every time. Now he's got one in each hand, two under his armpits. Come out with another balloon, put it under his chin. Now, stay away from the crotch area. In the old days, I would put one right there and have him squeeze his legs there. Down by the knees, squeeze your legs together. Get a couple in there. If there's a shirt or a hood, poke something in there. You keep going. Drops it, whole thing again. Start at the beginning. It's Three Stooges, guys. Go through the whole set. Finally, that kid's going to be here like this. Now, you escort them back to the seat. You don't want a boo-boo. Everybody's going to scream. You help the kid. Let me get you back to your seat. I don't need the lawsuit. And on the way, you say, you know what? What do you bet they came here in a Volkswagen or whatever the new small car is? Guys, I did that bit and do that bit in every single illusion show I have ever done. You want to talk about pack small, play big? Yeah, breaking the balloon is horrible. Giving the kid 15 balloons to make up for it is what we call taking the curse off. Now, Steve, Chaplain Steve, uh, balloons don't cost much, especially if you buy them from a wholesaler. Uh, you should see the look on kids' faces. I am going to share one more balloon with you. And if you want me to do a whole Saturday and show the ones I've created, um, gentlemen, I've got a brand new science show that falls under the STEM banner that I'm about to start promoting. The science is topology. It's the study of surface areas. Things like the Mobius strip, cutting a hole in paper big enough to walk through, uh, cutting a dime-sized hole and a quarter fits through it. That sort of study. Well, it occurred to me that balloons are all topology. It's the same size at the start, same shape. How much air you put in it varies. But the question is, if I keep the volume that I have, how can I change how it looks? Well, then you show the principle. I would do this in workshops. Then you give a blown balloon to every kid in the workshop and either teach them how to make a dog or let them go off and on their own, you're going to stay in the room, make something. Now, whoa. Okay, that happens. Watch. Whoa, don't worry, because some kids are really nervous about that. Don't worry, they only break once. Well, they don't. They do. In the old days, when I actually had lungs, I used to do this. This was huge. You fill the balloon completely up with air. You let all the air out. Now, gently, don't do it tight. You wrap it around 2 fingers. Remember, it's already been blown up once. Make sure there's no twists or nothing. What I used to do is blow it up now by mouth. It will follow and create a spiral because it's deflated. Now it's going to go back up. That spiral is going to become the snake. I can't do it anymore. I tried a couple of times last week, and parents were saying, stop, because they all knew that I'm too old for this. Now, you can't, there. I wanted you to see that was there. So I tried something. I still roll it up like I did in the old days. And you got to do this one hand, so it's a pain. I got to put this down, guys. There we go. Now, hold it in place. Now, it should have been a little tighter. But it comes out looking like that. Tie it off. Get ready. This is going to be really bad, Nick. So you've got this twisted. You tell the kid, are you right-handed or left-handed? Whatever they say, well, then you better give me the other hand. And you put this on their arm. And you say, now listen, that's a deadly air cobra. Whatever you do, don't shake your arm around, or the snake will get hissed at you. Oh, come on, that's horrible. Horrible. And I always have follow-ups. Can you believe they pay me for this? They're not going to get any better. You may as well applaud now. When I did the greeting line for the alligator a couple weeks ago and started doing these gags, well, I've got Al, and I thought because Easter Bunny's right here, so as they're going this way, they're coming over to meet Al, and some little girl's bringing her bag of Easter candy from the Easter Bunny, and she gets up there and she drops the bag. It hits the floor, it's going everywhere, and those kids are going to take all her candy. What can I do? This hand is. So Al reached out, snatched, and he caught it in his mouth. People started applauding. I gave the candy to the girl. Al went up and was doing his victory lap. And it hit me. Never came up with it before. And I've ran the joke past David Ginn, Barry Mitchell, and the great and powerful Oz, Gene Oswald. All of them said, never heard that joke before. It's brand new, and you knocked it out of the park. So, okay, he saved the girl. Wow, you're very special. Al saved you. Do you know what it's called when an alligator saves you? I look at the audience. I just thought this up. It's bad. I come back down. Do you know what it's called? It's called Gatorade. The adults who by now had bought the premise, so they were buying the bit, did this, groaned, and I gave away 5 cards for birthday parties. That's where it comes from. I got to wrap it up, guys. That is where it comes from. Play with it. Every morning here in America, I'm sorry, buddy, but I don't think you're going to be able to get this in the Philippines, Jack and Steve. But here, Me TV, 9 a.m., tune in with me. It's classic children's show. They show the classic cartoons, Warner Brothers, Tom and Jerry, Betty Boop, Popeye, and they don't edit them. So if you're vague on what happened, I got it on the VCR timer. I get up at 7 every morning, have my tea, have my soup, and I watch the cartoons. Any questions? One other little thing. When I'm going down to this church show, I'm bringing all the puppets and I'm bringing my classic table. In that table is everything I need to do all kids, teenagers, a mixture, adults, or a mixture. I can do my version of the Slidini Silks for everyone. I can do it with a little kid. I can get a teenager. I can get a young lady. I can get a parent. It works with all of them. That's why I have those big silks, 24 inches. I don't care what the size of their wrist is. I can do that routine. I can do the rope trick. Does not matter. And I can go on and on and on. I just see who's there. And we play. I'm certainly going to do the rabbit in the hat, and I'm certainly going to do Al because that's how I learn more stuff. Bottom line, I got to go. Will Baffle and I spoke about this at length the other day. When I wrote CSS, Crime Scene Science, those CSI shows were everywhere. And not a single person had written a forensic school show. I made more money off of that show than you can imagine. Thousands of dollars a week. But the very first show I ever did, compared to what they were going to look like a month later, that was crap. But when you do 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 5 days a week, okay? So that's 20 shows a week, 80 shows a month, 80 live shows in front of a live audience. Starting the next month, that show hummed. All of the jokes were there. Everything was there. And that's the only way you're going to get it, guys. There is no magic way to have jokes. They come to you when you're performing. So, with that in mind, I got a long drive ahead of me today. So, as I always say, turn blue, scratch glass, but don't get caught. And I'll see you next week's going to be tough because again, I've got a show, but that show starts at noon. So I got to be there at 11. So I may not be able to do next week. We'll have to look at it. Till then, happy magic, guys.